Greek and Latin words. So everything around here is Latin except right up here. That's Greek language.
Greek.
The Greek language. Now this is called the altar of the chair, and it was done by Bernini.
I got it now.
This was done by Bernini as well. Now notice there's no stained glass at all. This is Baroque style. Gothic uses stained glass, Baroque does not. And so the Holy Spirit, see, it's the same thing, the dove. Holy Spirit, it's a symbol of the Holy Spirit, and that's alabaster. So what Bernini did is had the altar of the chair. Now why is a chair important for us? Because in the New Testament, in the ancient world at the time, whenever somebody sat and taught, that meant he had authority. So when in the Gospels it says Jesus sat down and began to teach, that meant something. It wasn't just a descriptive tale. It wasn't just a description. It meant this guy has authority and he's about to say something really important. And so chair was always a symbol of authority. And so that's why all the churches, all the cathedrals in the world have a chair. Because a cathedral is a church where the bishop has his chair, his place of authority. Because the Greek word for chair is cathedra.
The chair of honor.
And that's where, that's where we get the word cathedral from. Yeah, so it's a sign of honor, but it's also a sign of authority. And so you have here the Holy Spirit and this crown, this throne of glory, this cloud of glory coming out, and there is the chair. Now you have on either side of the chair 4 individuals. You have 2 guys with what's called mitres, who are bishops, that's St. Ambrose and St. Athanasius, and you have 2 guys in the back who are priests, and I always forget their names. St. Athanasius, Ambrose and Augustine Athanasius, and I can't remember, I always forget the 4th guy. So there are 2 priests from the eastern part of the church and 2 bishops from the western part of the church. And I always tell people, because some people always say, why can't the church change certain of its teachings? Why can't it update itself? Why can't it get modern? And the reason is in this picture of Bernini. The teaching authority of the church, everything that we believe comes from the Holy Spirit. It doesn't come from man. It comes from God. And so the teaching authority is being supported. Notice, it's not being supported by the men. It's being supported by the Holy Spirit, who pours out the cloud of glory. And you'll notice the bishops and priests, who are the ones who teach the teachings of the church, aren't even touching the chair. They merely point to it, because our role is not to create what the church says, but basically say this is what the church believes.
Okay.
And so that's our explanation for understanding that. So that's the kind of the cloud of glory. And inside that large bronze chair is, by tradition, a chair that St. Peter would have used back in his day. So it's just a small wooden chair in there. But we have on February 22nd is the Feast of the Chair of St. Peter in the Catholic Church, where it recognizes this teaching authority that God has given, has entrusted to the church. So it's a big feast day here in Rome.